Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and Three Mics.
God damn it, are we really gonna do that?
No, that
Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and Three Mics. I am your host, Anthony.
I am Dre Santos.
I'm Leo D'Souza, and I have no association with that name.
Do we have a treat for you, ladies and gentlemen? We are about to taste our very own mead, homemade mead. And I mean that, homemade.
Look at that. Looks delicious.
And not only that, but to top it all off, we are about to get into G.O.T. And you know what that means.
Got it.
Got him.
Got it.
Daddy.
Game of Thrones.
of Thrones. And that means that there's going to be some spoilers because we don't care. Anyways.
Also, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones up to this point, then you're probably never going to watch it. Just saying.
I suggest you do, though.
So that's our spoiler warning. So if you haven't watched season 8 and you still want to watch it without any spoilers, just go finish watching it and then come back.
Yep.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Let's begin.
Okay. So let's start off with our mead. We put it inside of our special Stormtrooper collectible item container. And let me just explain exactly how mead is made. So pretty much all you do is you get water, yeast, and some honey. And after you get water, yeast, and honey, you have to put it all inside of a container, something that will be sterile. You want water that's pretty much distilled so that nothing, no grime, none of that, so that you can repeat the process.
Not too much.
So you can repeat the process. And so pretty much you're going to put it in a container. You're going to put it in for 2 to 3 weeks. The yeast will ferment the honey, eat all the sugars, and then create the carbon dioxide, which makes ethanol. And then you wait for 2 to 3 weeks.
I just realized how amorphic that bottle is. Like it's made purely for aesthetics. It's like its function is so bad.
It is.
And here we are. So you put all those 3 things together, you ferment it, and then what I did to extract it was we put inside a pump, and this pump is a hand pump. We thought we could just move it up and down and then it works, but that system was broken. So we just sucked on the other end, and then it created a vacuum, and then we poured it all out into another container. You have to lift the bottle up on top higher in order for you to keep pouring out some more liquid. But yeah, so we ended up getting this. It's unfiltered. It's going to be great. We put apples inside of it because, we felt fruity.
So just give a 30-second spiel of what it exactly mead is.
It's a honey ale.
Honey ale. And
That's
where
pretty
did it
much
originate?
People say that it just originated from the Nordic people, where they would leave honey inside of a barrel. It would rain and all that, and then it would stay in the barrel for a really long time. And then they're like, let me try this honey. And then they got it, they tasted it, and they're like, whoa, I feel funny.
And it's funny because like the early alcohol, that's how they kind of made it.
Yeah.
It was leaving things unattended for a very long time. Like, oh, hey, this kind of makes me happy.
It's supposed to be poisonous, but anyway. So yeah, you guys ready?
Ready?
Oh, I am ready. I am.
Oh my God, I'm
ready.
so so scared.
So this is the first time that we have crafted our own alcoholic beverage.
Yes.
And now we're tasting it. So as you're about to taste this, Anthony,
Look at Leo's face after
I'm like, what is this going to taste? By the way, like I had no part in this. They made it
because
themselves.
yeah.
So first I want to know, Anthony, how does it feel right now for you to be you're about to taste a beverage that you made? How does it feel? What's going on in your mind
I
right
feel
now?
really cool, but then again, I'm pretty scared because I know how much I know, and I don't know a lot.
And Leo,
Imagine-
now from the other side of the pendulum, you are a person that was not involved in this process whatsoever. So, what is going in your mind right now as someone who's about to taste a beverage that was made by your friends?
Well, I'm curious, definitely. A little hesitant. I'm like, what is this going to
You're
taste
like, what am I supposed to
Did
do?
we
And,
Google what's the worst thing that could happen
You,
after drinking mead?
I don't think we want to.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right.
Oh.
And then what are you gonna say, Leo?
Well, if it tastes great, I suggest you trademark it.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Andre, how does it feel after watching a mad scientist at work put everything together and then didn't know what he was doing?
Ask me again after we taste it.
Okay, here we go. All right, take a
Cheers.
look at it, and then let's just admire that it literally is not clear at all.
It's very cloudy.
It's super cloudy. It looks like it's gonna be thick.
There's really not any particles inside that I can see.
When I was pouring it, I did see some,
At least my
apple.
cup, I didn't get any.
I didn't get any.
Yeah, it looks like dirty water, but nope.
All
Let's
right,
go.
Smell it.
cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Oh God.
It smells like
Smells like kombucha.
no.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm not too familiar with kombucha, but this kind of smells like a version of Angry Orchard.
Yeah, I could see that. I
Maybe.
like know. I kind of smell like
smell the
really
fermentation
light
because kombucha
ale.
is also fermentation. So
Really light ale. That's what I smell.
I smell Angry Orchard,
All right.
and you smell kombucha.
I smell kombucha.
Okay, now cheers.
Cheers.
Oh God.
Now let's see this.
Wow, Anthony. This is actually not bad at all. It's more like juice than alcohol.
Oh boy.
Tell me
I don't-
after a couple more drinks.
Oh, obviously, yeah, but like, I'm pretty sure.
Now here's the thing: we do
Oh,
not
no.
know the alcoholic percentage on. Oh, now you want it? Now you want it.
Our
By the
cameraman.
way, yeah,
Hold on.
our cameraman over here. I wish we could get him. Go sit next to Leo.
Yeah,
really
sit
quick.
next.
Viola,
5
Viola.
seconds. Viola.
5 seconds. This is
Yeah,
Achel,
sure.
our cameraman. Okay, our producer.
Here.
Not
you can
a
have some of
cameraman.
mine.
Yeah, go over there. Go
Yeah,
over there.
go over there and taste it.
Yeah, taste, now taste it on camera. Let's go.
Really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no
Yeah.
bite whatsoever.
Really good.
But you can still feel that slight
Yeah.
burn in the back.
Yep.
I wonder how the other one tastes.
So we tried our second batch of mead just now. Anthony, what'd you think of it?
I don't ever want to do this again.
Oh, I don't know what went wrong in this one.
Dude, it tastes bad. It tastes like bread. Like freaking bread. Old moldy bread. That's just like, it's like has like some old ass cheddar cheese on it. Like, and as you're like smelling it, you're already gagging. And then
Honestly,
Because we made two.
you made two. Okay.
Now, here's the interesting thing about making your own alcoholic beverage is that there is really no way of you knowing the ABV.
actually, there is.
Well, as right now, we
Well,
don't know how to
us
do it.
no, we have no idea what it is.
But there are of course there are instruments that we can buy that we can
Super
measure.
cheap too.
Yeah, but
I
we don't want to
decided
do
not-
that.
Yeah, I decided like we don't even know if we're gonna continue to do this. So
So to answer, how does it feel? It's like a newfound appreciation for the craft of
Yeah.
of making
I'm-
alcohol, but specifically, let's say, mead or beer. It tastes good.
yeah,
It's cool.
it really does taste. It tastes really different. Nothing that you would expect.
It
I wonder.
does not taste like apple cider, and
Nope.
it does not taste like beer.
Yeah, I wonder if we added any type of hops, like if it would taste any good. I'm
We
not
should
sure.
try that.
I don't know.
We'll find out one day. So from a 1 to 10, even though we've never tasted anything like this before, what would you rate it?
I'd give it an 8.
An
Wow.
8. Oh my God. A person that drinks Angry Orchard as his favorite drink.
Well,
he
it
gives
makes
an 8.
sense though because it's very sweet.
yeah.
It has a lot. It tastes like apples. There's that apple aftertaste.
It tastes most like honey. I taste the honey
And
very
there's a
much.
lot of honey too.
Yeah, well, we put a lot of honey.
So I expected Leo to actually
Yeah.
like that.
Of course, I expect Dre to give a lower score because he expects something stronger.
For me, I will give. I think taste wise, I'll give like a 7, 6 or a 7. To me, it's too sweet.
You like that bite.
Yeah, I do. It's not bad, but I wouldn't be able to drink a whole cup of this. Like I drank
I'd
a
probably
third of
settle
a
for
cup,
one-
and
yeah.
I'm fine.
I'd probably settle for 1 cup and that's it.
Yeah, one cup. I could see that. Yeah.
It's just it's too sweet. It's too thick.
It is really thick.
It's very
as
thick.
we were looking at it and we were like, "Oh, it looks pretty thick."
It is very thick.
But what so you would say 7.
6.5. 6 because I said between 6 and 7. I'll say 6.5.
I agree with that actually. I was going to say 7 as well because one, it could be a lot stronger and I don't think it is. I like that little bite at the end of any type of beer, any type of alcohol, IPAs especially. When it's a little bit bitter, you kind of appreciate it a little bit more for some reason. Like it's a little bit more sophisticated, I guess. I don't know. But I still like it. I think I didn't expect it to taste any good.
It was interesting because like the flavor profiles to me, the first time I sipped it, it was kind of it came. For me, it was the apple taste came first, the apple flavor, and then the honey kind of kicked in.
Oh,
I was
and
like,
it kicks
"Ooh,
in too.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. This is interesting. But yeah, maybe I would like to see how it would taste if we put
Like strawberry,
something that's or
grape.
we should do a
blackberry,
berry one, but maybe
lemon.
something that something that has a little bit more. It's a little bit more sour.
Yeah.
I agree. I think if we put a little bit more flavor into it.
But we
I
did
was-
talk about because our next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna make our own beer.
Yeah, we're going to do that for
We're
sure.
gonna brew our own beer.
Oh, good luck with that.
All right.
Good luck.
Yeah. So, as we just drank our mead, we're now in the mood. We are in the zone of a Nordic lifestyle. We're in a zone of a medieval time.
Nordic and medieval time are two completely different things. But
I know.
go
Come on,
on.
Anthony.
I
Come
said,
on.
and we're also
Just say medieval.
sure medieval.
I'm sure the medieval
Where-
knights made mead.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but where we're ready to talk about the very last season of Game of Thrones.
It feels surreal.
Yeah.
It really does.
How long have we been waiting for this to happen, though?
Years.
2 years.
I've been watching Game of Thrones.
No, but since season 7, it's been 2 years. Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
I've been watching Game of Thrones since season 4.
Since season 4 premiered.
Yes.
I've been watching Game of Thrones since season 7. I actually binge watched the first 6 seasons in about 2 months. And then I watched season 7 as it was kind of being released.
Me and my family have been watching since season 1.
Really?
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Season
wow.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's interesting. I've always heard about Game of Thrones, but before I got into Game of Thrones,
You were too hipster for it. I
no,
remember.
it wasn't. It wasn't
I
even
remember,
that.
I
But,
remember
no,
trying to get you into Game of Thrones.
but
Like, nah,
it
it's
wasn't.
too mainstream.
No,
dude.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't about being hipster. It was more about I never enjoyed the fantasy genre. I do not like dragons.
You don't
I do
like
not like
magic.
medieval stuff. I
You
don't
don't
like
like
magic.
fairies.
Yeah,
I
I
don't like
remember.
fairies. I don't like any of that. And Game of Thrones really subverted my expectations because it really got me into that because it gives you that fantasy vibe but without being too corny.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
It was realistic at the same
yeah,
time.
it was realistic.
Like there were elements of fantasy, but they also kept it real.
It was
like
in
no
the
people
right-
died, people got hurt,
Yes.
people like stuff happened. You know,
Yeah.
there are consequences to what they do.
And I mean, I remember one of my, let's say, best memories about Game of Thrones was hearing about the Red Wedding. And I knew the Red Wedding, something was going to happen in the Red Wedding.
Oh boy, it
And
happens too.
I think in season 2, there's like 2 weddings or 3 weddings. There's a couple weddings that happen. And I just didn't know which wedding it was going to be. And then when Rob's wedding, or not Rob's wedding,
His uncle.
his uncle's wedding happens and all of that goes down, it just took me completely by surprise.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, the Red Wedding almost made me give up on Game of Thrones.
What?
Yeah,
That
Af-
is
af-
the greatest
you know, af-
part
the-
of what Game of Thrones is.
no. After I watched, because Rob was my favorite character,
Okay.
and after watching the Red
Is it the
Wedding,
young wolf, right?
yeah, the young
yeah,
wolf.
Young Wolf.
After watching the Red Wedding, I legit I stopped and I stared at the screen for like 10 minutes.
In
was-
surprise.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I just stared at the screen for like 10 minutes. I'm like,
Did
This-
this happen?
this can't be it.
This is not real.
This ain't this. No, I can't.
I felt the same way when Ned Stark died.
And then like after, no, Ned Stark. Like yeah, I felt bad for Ned Stark, but after seeing Rob's like, oh yeah, no, Rob's gonna revenge for Ned Stark because like no, Rob's the man.
Yeah.
Stuff, and then
Yeah, right after Ned Stark dies, we're like we're behind Rob Stark. We're like, this is the next guy. He's gonna be king. He's gonna like take over everything.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the Red Wedding happened. I was like, oh wow, okay. And then like I hesitated to watch the next episode. I was like, you know what? Let's see what the next episode's going to bring.
It was funny because the Red Wedding, that's what really hooked me into Game of Thrones. That's what solidified for me that, man, I actually really do enjoy
Do you
the
know
show.
how many seasons is in?
Yeah, but
Three.
it took a while.
3 seasons.
It took
Three
a while.
seasons.
I-
3
I
seasons. You
enjoyed-
watched the whole thing,
Yeah.
and then you're like, huh, this is what got me into it.
Well,
Nothing
yeah,
else.
because again, it's before subverting expectations became a negative term.
Yeah.
That was a good thing, and Game of Thrones did that very well for the first 4-5 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, again, for me, it was a huge shock that Ned Stark got decapitated in the last episode of the first season, because he is shown in a way that he's the main character of the first season.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, you're
follow
follow-
everything
Yeah.
through either his perspective or or the perspective of one of the members of his family.
The funny thing is, though, you just don't know why. You don't get it. Like, you're just following the guy. You're following what's going on.
Because of the books.
He
The book starts with
The story starts in Winterfell.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, like, you don't know why you're following Ned Stark the whole time. Like, why we're following the Stark family. You don't know. You never get like told like, oh well, they.
I mean, I
because
don't think it
they're
needs to be
this.
told. They're just established the main characters.
Right, and that's, but you don't know why yet until like you get through a little bit deeper into the story when you start when you start watching Bran's whole story unfold, and you see him becoming the three-eyed raven and talking to the three-eyed raven, and then when the three-eyed raven shows him the visions, you're like, whoa, wait a second. Now I'm getting why everything's supposed to be so connected, why we're following this family, because
Actually,
since-
the real thing is the real main character of the story, which was unexpected, and George R. R. Martin, I think he did brilliantly. It was Jon Snow.
Yeah.
It was Jon Snow the whole time. It was like right in front of our eyes, but Jon Snow was overshadowed by his family. He was overshadowed by Ned, and then he was overshadowed by Rob. And then after Ned and Rob dies, like, who's left?
Yeah. He's like, well, we'll just kill everybody and then leave you the bastard. That's
Yeah.
it.
pretty
then
much.
And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
now I get it.
So
So
we're
what's
not talking about season 8.
yeah?
because we were supposed
So
to talk about
what
season
is
8.
your opinion on how season 8 went down?
Dre, you'd like to go first?
Oh, sure.
Wrong.
Wrong.
No.
Wrong.
Okay.
Man, it's tough. It's tough because the past few days I've been watching a lot of like behind the scenes of not that stupid right after the episode when
Oh, yeah,
D&D talk about the episode, they kind of try to explain why they made the terrible mistakes, the choices that they made. But the actual like behind the scenes of the producer and the DP and the director and everyone and the actors all talking about the making of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the last one that I watched was the making of The Long Night, or no, the Battle of Winterfell. Right, that's the episode 3.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can you move the wire over on top of the? Yeah.
Can you get more beers?
So Dre, you were saying you were watching behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, I was watching behind the scenes stuff, and the last one that I watched was the one for the Battle of Winterfell.
Right.
And for that episode, they took 3 months to film that one episode. 3 months of night shooting every single night.
Yeah, they said it was 40
from
nights.
6 p.m. until 5 a.m. every single night. It's insane. Just Leona Mormont's scene, that was like 5 days of shooting just to do that scene. So it's
With
like
the giant? Did she close the giant?
yeah, just that scene was 5 days. Just to do that
Wow.
scene. The crypt, a week. It took a week for them to film those shots in the crypt. So it's like
I think
story wise, I'm very conflicted with season 8 because it wasn't good. Everything felt rushed. A lot of things made sense, but everything felt rushed. But then at the same time, I can't justify shitting on season 8 just because of the story. Because everything else behind the show was incredible. It was incredible. If you think about it, season 8, it was we got to watch 6 movies about Game of Thrones in the Game of Thrones world. It was pretty much 6 movies. 4 movies, right? Because the last 4 episodes.
It was a really long movies, yeah.
No, it was an hour and a half movies.
Yeah.
So that's not very long.
No, it just felt long. I don't know.
So, but what I'm trying to get at is that even though the story felt rushed, and even though it didn't feel fulfilling and it kind of fell short, I still appreciate what everyone did on the show because the acting was superb. The visual effects most of them were incredible. The action scenes, the cinematography, the sound effects, the soundtrack, everything was on point. It was really the story. And as a filmmaker, you always learn that story is king. And if the story is not there, you can have the best of everything, but it's not gonna stick the landing.
So, but there are a lot of movies that do that. A lot of movies that go through very long processes. Like there was like the one movie about a boy.
Oh yeah,
where
that
they
movie
took
with that
years.
director.
Oh, the
So
Boyhood.
many, yeah. But would you rate that movie like that was a great movie?
Yes.
But is it based on the story or is it based on the
Achievement.
the achievement? Right. And so with that, I totally understand.
But that's the thing. You have to recognize the achievement.
Yeah.
You have to understand that, and that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of people online that are just now shitting on Game of Thrones because of season 8.
Yeah.
But they don't understand what. I don't think they understand and they really think about it because right now they're pissed off.
But
Thrones-
here's the thing. Yeah, rightfully so though.
Yeah, no, sure, maybe, but sure.
Because the way that I see it is, what they're angry about is like the director, the producers, everybody.
Not the directing producers. If they're angry about the writers, it's the writing.
I don't.
Season 8. The biggest fault is the writing.
no, they just squished everything in.
Exactly.
The writers,
that's
the
that's right.
showrunners.
Yeah,
It's
D&D.
the
but-
showrunners.
D&D.
Okay, so so who made the decision that they're not going to
The
do it?
show-
they
showrunners.
did the D&D.
D&D.
HBO wanted
Benioff and Weiss.
yeah, HBO wanted 10 seasons of Game of Thrones.
J.J.R.
Yeah.
Martin wanted 12 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And then think about it. It's like most of the actors, they will probably just sign on for a few more seasons
Yeah,
and
but
will
you-
gladly have done
They
more
all.
seasons.
I was listening to.
As I can tell from like the
a-
interviews, like Kit Harington
Yeah.
and Amelia Clark, they were really into their characters.
Everyone was really into
Yeah,
it.
they
And
they
that's
were
what I'm
saying that they were crying over the fact that it was all over, and they were, but then they were all like, "It's over, like it's really over, like this is what we finished with."
Richard Madden, who plays Robb Stark, he said that when he could not even believe that his character dies on the Red Wedding. And then he said, like in an interview, like, no, after he finished shooting the Red Wedding, it took a couple days for it to do it. He just remembers that when he got on his plane to go home, he just started crying. That's how invested these actors are into their role.
Yeah, I
And-
mean,
and
but
that's
some
why-
of them, that's their star role. That's where they get into.
It may be the pinnacle of their careers.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
the top. Yeah,
Because Game of Thrones is by far probably the greatest and most popular TV show ever made.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like what Game of Thrones has achieved as a TV show. It's the same. I would argue that it's in the
Behind
same
The Office,
level.
though.
No, it's in the same. It's in the same level as what Marvel has achieved through filmmaking. Because Marvel has completely changed the landscape of filmmaking and serialized filmmaking, to be more exact.
yeah.
And on the other hand, Game of Thrones has forever changed the landscape of television. Before, I mean, of course, there were some great shows before Game of Thrones on TV, but I think Game of Thrones really solidified what some other TV shows were doing before Game of Thrones. But it's like every time you're watching an episode of Game of Thrones, no matter how shitty the writing is, the set dressing, the world building, the characters, everything is just so on point. It's so beautiful. Everything apart from the water bottle that was left in the last episode and the Starbucks cup that was left in the whatever season, that episode that was. But everything is so on point. It's like you're watching a movie every single week.
No, that water bottle and that Starbucks cup, I think it comes to show towards the last season how lazy.
See, I said that. I said that when I saw that, but I disagree with what I said and what you're saying right now, because when you're that was not the only take that they had of that scene.
Okay.
But as you know, as I'm learning more about editing, more about filmmaking, one of the rules that a lot of editors go through is you always choose acting before anything else. Acting is the most important thing for you to decide in which take you're going to
No, but you
use.
said yourself that you could have edited that cup out of the scene.
Sure. But
Even you.
Yeah.
You could have put a brown piece of like doo-doo right on top of the cup where no one would actually really notice it.
But I don't. Yes, of course. But I don't know if I don't know what happened. But that's the thing. It's really easy for us as viewers to shit on a show that literally thousands of people have worked their asses off to come about.
Agreed.
It's really easy, and it's like it's kind of the same thing that the appreciation that you have for beer when you make your own beer. It's a different kind of appreciation, and it's like when you know what it takes to create something visually, to create a film, or even if you watch the behind the scenes, you'll see just how hard it is.
Yep. So Anthony, what do you think went wrong in season 8?
What do I think went wrong?
Story-wise, just like sticking to the story. What do you think went wrong? What could they have done better?
They literally rushed everything. Everything.
I feel like the problem is not only season 8. I think season 7 is also a problem. because it was only 6 episodes as well, or 6 or 7 episodes. I don't remember, but it was definitely rushed. You know, knowing the fact that HBO would have gladly given more seasons or more time for them to finish a more complete and coherent story, I think it just comes to show. I don't know. Like it's a weird feeling. It's almost, I guess, like I guess I could say that they don't really care about the story or the fans. That they just wanted to get this project done and move on to something else.
I don't
That-
think
that's
I
what
don't
I-
think
that-
that's what it is.
But I think that's what it felt like because they decided to try to cut it all short.
But see, but
Because
you know why I don't
because they decided to do that. That's the way I feel too. Because they're like, well, we're gonna cut it short, and it's like everybody's like throwing their hands up, like the little the gif of the
little
the
white
little
the white monkey thing,
lemur thing,
like,
throwing his hands up. But because you just don't understand. You're like, well, you promised us, 10 episodes or 10 seasons.
No, but see, that's the thing. They didn't.
They didn't promise. They were
D&D
willing to
no,
do.
No, they weren't. D&D.
I'm talking about HBO was willing to.
Yeah,
do.
but D&D since the beginning,
Okay.
they wanted to do 7 seasons. They wanted to end the show in 7 seasons.
Okay.
But then once they were, I think, season 5 or 6, they started renegotiating things with HBO, and HBO really was pushing for 10 seasons, and they wanted to stop at 7. So I guess their compromise was to do 8 seasons.
So who should we listen to?
Honestly,
the
I think
HBO, in which is a company that really that has a ton of really great TV shows. Okay, really good
Name
TV
another
show.
great TV show from HBO.
Boardwalk Empire,
Anthony. Another one.
Westworld.
Another one.
I'll get there.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
I'll get
All
there.
right, missed
But
it.
I mean, they have a lot more, and just because I'm not the person that knows about it,
I mean, if
doesn't
you're going
mean
to
that there
defend it, you
aren't.
better know.
No, I'm being serious though.
by the way,
Did you finish
three
Westworld
is
season
not
2?
true. If you
whereas
can
Did you
name three-
finish? Did you finish
Please-
Westworld season 2?
Please tell me D&D.
Exactly, you did it.
Please tell me D&D. What do they do?
They adapted Game of Thrones really well. And here's the
Okay,
thing.
but that's my point.
I'm going.
It's like
I'm going
this
to
is their
defend
greatest
them. I'm going
achievement.
to defend them because people are really quick to shit on them for season 7 and 8, especially season 8. But we forget that they were the ones who adapted the first incredible 4 seasons of Game of Thrones.
That's because
It
they
was
had the
them.
books of
But-
George R.
but-
R.
Yeah,
Martin.
George R.R.
Sure.
Martin is the
If
one
you-
who
if
wrote
you have-
those
Do
books.
you know
If-
how
if I
hard
was-
it is to adapt something? Because a book is written in a way, a screenplay is completely different. Well, their job was to read through the books, to read through the lore that George R. R. Martin gave them, and then decide this stays, this goes. And they did a really good job. Adaptive screenplays are such a feat of achievement that the Oscars give an award for adaptive screenplay because it is a hard thing to do. And they did an incredible job
All right.
at doing
I
it.
will push back because I don't think it helps their case the fact that they signed up for Star Wars with Disney soon before the ending of Game of Thrones.
When did they
Because for
sign
me,
off?
for me, it really does felt like they just wanted to finish Game of Thrones.
When did
So-
they sign on to do Star
Anthony,
Wars?
can you check when they signed up for Star Wars?
From my research, I don't know exact dates, but they had talked about the fact that they wanted to do 7 seasons way before, years before they signed on to do Star Wars. So that's what I'm saying. They didn't want to end Game of Thrones early because of Star Wars. They wanted to end Game of Thrones early because they wanted to quit while they were ahead. They want, and this is something that they talked about in several interviews. They didn't want to overcome their stay, but then they shot themselves in the foot by cutting themselves too short and forcing their hands and forcing them.
In my opinion, I don't think they needed to go 10 seasons. I think had they done 8 full seasons, season 7,
With
season
10
8, with 10
episodes each.
episodes, I think it would have ended in a much more satisfactory way.
Okay, Game of Thrones has an hour each episode, right?
Yes.
Is it an hour? Yeah, it is.
It's
an
about
hour.
an hour, 50 minutes.
Let's just say, excuse me. Let's just say an hour. That's 10 hours per. How many hours of episodes did season 8 have?
Let's see. I think it was about like 80 minutes. It's about like an hour and a half.
So the last 4 episodes were an hour and a half,
Yeah.
right? So an hour and a half, 3 hours, 6 hours, plus an hour for the first 2. So 8 hours. So technically, they cut off 2 hours. Now, could they have really told a more fleshed out story with 2 extra hours?
All right, hold on.
No, counting season 7.
4 extra hours?
So they
Season
so
se-
Star Wars put it on their website on February 6th, 2018.
Yeah. They had to make the decision much sooner than that. And of course, their talks started sooner too.
Yeah.
But
We don't know when they started talking.
But
Yeah.
if
This probably come out years before.
I know, but if you can research, and there are again interviews with D&D back in 2015 that they said that they wanted to end it with 7 seasons. So this has been a thing for them since the beginning.
Okay.
They stuck to their plan.
And then the question becomes, why didn't they just end at season 7 instead of doing a half-assed job of
because they
season 7 and
compromised
season?
with HBO that wanted more seasons.
I think it was just bad compromise on their part.
No, because then think about it. If the show had ended after season 6, we would have been like, "What? What's going on?" There's
Okay.
nothing.
But we're not really getting into
happening.
it. We can argue all day about what their decision could have been, but what they put out is what we watched. Okay?
Yep.
Whatever it is, whatever decision they made, who cares? What they put
In my
out.
view, a lot
of
did
fans-
they
honestly-
put out the best finale of a TV show that we like to say is remarkable, is probably the best TV show on planet.
I would say
Did
even
they
after
end-
season 8, I would still say that it's the best TV show.
I'd
But
still say that too.
did they have the best finale of a TV show where
No.
you were 100% behind everything that they did?
No.
Would you change anything? Would
Oh,
you
yes.
keep anything?
Oh, yeah,
what would
dude.
it be?
No, I was going to get to the point. I think the gravest mistake that they made is how they ended Jon Snow's story. Because if you remember, I remember watching an interview with George R. R. Martin. He said that a prerequisite when George R. R. Martin was looking for writers and directors for his show, to adapt his book into a show, the prerequisite for that writer, that director taking on his show is if they can guess who Jon Snow mothers is correctly. Right?
And by that time, it wasn't revealed in the books.
No. And D&D, they guessed it correctly. So Jon Snow, very obviously, is a huge part in the book. And season 8, they treated him like an overpaid extra. Like, she's my queen. I never wanted it, but she's my queen. And then, no, like, so what was the point? So, seeing this ending, what was the point of bringing him back to life?
He took
There was legit no point
Yeah.
in bringing him back to life other than to take back Winterfell, but Sansa could have done it without him.
he took like a back seat to the drivers.
And what was
where-
the point of revealing his lineage that he was half Targaryen and Stark?
Yeah, but he took a backseat to the characters that they really made prominent, which was the women. They
Yeah.
made Cersei, which she was already prominent, but
And also,
then they made the Khaleesi,
yeah,
Daenerys Targaryen, and then they made his sister, Sansa.
Yep.
They made them very prominent. They made them like one of the main
Don't forget
drivers.
Arya.
Yeah, Arya too, but she wasn't like
Well, she
she's
definitely
always
subverted our expectations, didn't she?
yeah.
No, there was a lot of screen time for Arya. Bro.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
But and that's all we were watching at that point was that the very strong, the very noble Jon Snow taking a back seat to these characters.
Two
That's
more
what we
things.
saw.
Two more things. I've also heard that Macy Williams, who plays Arya, she was not happy with the fact that she kills the Night King in the show. And two, if you one inconsistency in the show is the fact that Jon Snow was like, "Oh, I never wanted it," and then when Tyrion suggested to give the crown to Bran, Bran's like, "I don't want it either, but I'll take it." So it's like, so it's not about wanting the throne because Jon didn't want the throne. Why didn't he just force the throne on Jon?
Because he wouldn't take it. Because that's the thing.
And then why would Bran
that's
take
why-
it if he didn't want it?
But because Bran is a three-eyed raven, he already saw it coming.
And so-
That's the thing.
so
Because,
honestly,
remember,
if Bran
he
saw
does
it,
not
then-
only
then-
see the present, but he sees the future.
I'm sorry.
and he
Then
sees
the
what it
way
can
that
do.
this shows in, that makes Bran looks like a piece of shit.
Or
Like,
the
he's
more interesting thing, which I am buying into, just so that I can justify the lackluster ending, is that he's actually evil. Because if you think about it, what is the three-eyed raven? The three-eyed raven is a collective consciousness of the children of the forest.
Or the Westeros. He's the history of Westeros.
No, he knows Westeros, but what he actually is, he's an entity that has been created by the children of the forest to defeat the Night King. Because they created the Night King to defeat the First Men, right? Because when the First Men came to Westeros, they destroyed the weirwood trees. And they burned all of them. And they started killing the children of the forest. So the children of the forest was like, shit, fuck. These First Men arrived in Westeros and we need to do something. So then they grabbed that poor First Man and they stabbed Dragonglass in his heart and they created the Night King that we see in the show. So, but then they're like, shit, we created a monster and this monster is now killing us instead of killing the First Men. Actually, this monster is killing everybody.
No, he ends up killing the men.
Everybody. He kills everybody. So then the children of the forest, from what I understand, they also create the three-eyed raven to combat the Night King. So the three-eyed raven is created by the children of the forest, and since the beginning, the children of the forest hated humanity. They hated the First Men.
I mean, I see them as kind of just a minor inconvenience.
But they're not. But that's the thing. They're not in the books and in the lore. They're not a minor inconvenience whatsoever. Think about it. They fucking created the Night King.
That's your one swear word.
They created the three-eyed raven. Arguably the two most powerful entities of the Westeros world.
But realize it's over.
What?
Everything.
What do you mean by that?
So it doesn't really matter that whether or not he's evil. What matters?
Well, yeah, it kind of matters because if he is the collective consciousness of the children of the forest, and that is why he wanted
he's the
to be in
collective
the
consciousness of the memories of human beings.
No, he knows everything because he can travel in the past, present, and the future.
Yeah.
But who created them? And the reason why he has his powers is because of the magical beings that the children of the forest are.
So what makes you think that he has their side? Quote,
because
unquote.
he was created by them. He is kind of like, that's what I'm saying. He's the collective consciousness of the children of the forest. And now the children of the forest, look into it. I'm telling you, look into it. The children of the forest now, they have a king that is sitting in the throne of Westeros. And now they once again have control of Westeros. No, by the way, no, the whole thing of Bran being the evil guy, it's not confirmed, and they didn't hint at it at all.
Neither confirmed
nor denied.
Yeah, but think about it.
But
How
it's
cool
also
would that be, though?
The question is,
why do you think I came
does that even matter? Like, because this is the point.
If that was true,
the finale.
If that was true, that would be a kick-ass finale. For the evil guy to reign over Westeros. Yeah,
I
that
still,
would be pretty kick-ass.
I still don't. At this point, does it really matter?
No.
Because
but then at this point, nothing that we talk about today really matters because the season is over.
Right. Well, it's our opinions that matter.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is whether or not he's evil. It's just like it's over.
So I think the consensus among us is that one, it was very rushed. Had they, like in my opinion, if they had 2 full seasons, 7 and 8, I think they could have ended it in a much better way.
But then the question is, like I said, can 4 hours really add a
Oh
lot
yes.
to it?
Oh,
What are you
yes,
talking
dude.
about?
Are
How
you
long did it
crazy?
take for you to?
No.
Yeah,
No.
dude.
4
You
4
spent-
hours. Hold on.
you
4
spent-
hours to flesh out
it was
all
more.
of the
It was
stories
more
that they
than four,
needed
it
to
was more
flesh
than
out.
4 hours on season 7 because season 7 there were not 80-minute episodes.
There
Here-
were how many?
They're about an hour
Hour.
each.
Yeah, about so let's
But
say
here-
if they had if season
That-
7
up to
season
6
8,
hours. That's more than half a season.
No, you don't
6
count.
hours.
No, you don't
Yeah.
count it like that because if season 7, season 8 were going to be 10 episodes, how many episodes were in season 7?
I think it was 6 as
6.
well.
So you get 4 more. So it'll be 4 extra hours plus the 2 hours that you get from season 8. So 6 extra hours. Now, were 6 extra hours actually
Yes.
be able to flesh out
Yes.
everything?
Very much.
What are you talking?
All
Very
of the
much.
stories that they dropped
You're
because
literally
because
talking
they-
about 6 hours. 6.
You
no,
know how go-
we're,
you
no,
know
we're
how
not.
much goes
How about
on in
this? How
5
about this?
minutes, dude?
How about this? I'll give you this.
You know how much
let's
goes on
talk
in
about-
5
So
minutes?
let's talk about all of
Six
all of
episodes.
No, let's talk about all
6
of the story
episodes.
threads that
That's
they
what we're
left
talking about.
behind. Let's talk about all the story threads that they left behind unanswered whatsoever.
Mira Reed. That's the biggest
Who
one.
is that?
She's the girl that dragged Brand's ass up to the north and then back south.
Mira Reed. 1. Brand's story to me, and this, if there's one thing that pissed me off the most about season 8 is the disservice that they did with Bran, because they were setting up Bran to be this motherfucking badass.
Second swear word.
Yep.
are we gonna bleep that out?
Badass
We're gonna bleep it
of Game of Thrones. Like, you found
was good.
out some of the most important and interesting things about the lore through his perspective, and then he doesn't do shit in season 8 or 7 or 6.
I think that
He-
that
no,
video showed
hold
me.
on. He went and became a crow. All right, a couple of crows. And
Why?
he flew around.
Exactly.
Look,
Okay.
Okay, so that's 2. What else? What are some other story threads that they dropped off?
Just to touch on Bran, I think it would have been a lot more interesting that video you showed us a long time ago. That during the battle, if Bran saw that they were losing, and he tried to go back in time, and he got inside King Aerys's head,
Yes.
and that's what drove
and
him
he
crazy.
caused
And that would drove King Aerys crazy. That would have been much more interesting instead of him just sitting there going to crows. Like, what was Bran doing this whole time?
We don't know.
absolutely
he just went
nothing.
into some crows just so we can get a POV of the dragon battle over the
It was
clouds.
stupid. No, it was stupid. I agree.
It was,
It was
but
completely stupid.
and it didn't add anything. It did not add anything.
So it's not that.
So
I hate-
that's 2. The
Yeah.
Bran, and then what else? The Night King.
Night
Come
King.
on, the Night
Who is
King.
he?
You didn't
Why did-
learn
why-
jack about him.
Night King.
There
Why-
was
why was he
one
marching on
episode. Hold on,
Westeros?
hold on. One episode. That's what you got. You got one scene out of one episode that explains the Night King, and that's it.
That was season 3 of episode 8. That is when I went bananas. I remember we were in the living room. It was Leo, Anthony, and I. We were watching episode 3, and after the end, it was dead silent. All of us, we just looked at each other, and I was like,
What the hell was that?
"The fuck just happened?"
Yeah, it was.
Like, really?
It was like
how can they fucking kill the Night King? Like, he died like a bitch.
he was absolutely nothing.
Like a fucking bitch.
He was nothing.
You know what makes me even more mad? Because a lot of people are like, oh, Game of Thrones is all about the politics and all that. Shut the fuck up. No, it's not. Because what is the first thing that you see?
Rated R,
It's
guys.
sex. It is
we
sex.
are rated R, guys.
Sex.
What is the first thing that
Dre
you
has
see?
made us rated R.
Sex.
Yes.
Nudity.
I am reading the Game of Thrones book because
Boobs.
I fucking hated
Naked
how they
bodies.
ended the show. Now, because I was playing the devil's advocate this whole time. Now my anger towards season 8 is really coming out.
There you go.
What is
Finally.
the first thing that when you read the book and when you watch a show, what is the first thing that you see?
White Walkers.
White Walkers. Why
Walkers.
fucking
Or the
Walkers?
others, if whichever
the
you prefer.
others. In the book, they called them the others, but the White Walkers. So how are you
nudity.
going to set someone up for 8 seasons and then have them die? The biggest, baddest guy, have him die like a fucking bitch. It's the same thing as if Marvel set up Thanos for 10 years and then at the end of the day,
Scarlet Witch
Rocket,
kills him.
no, Rocket just went and shot him in the back. What?
That was it. No, hold on.
Rocket would have made more sense because he has a tech.
Can I say
but
this?
It's like Scarlet Witch or something.
Scarlet Witch is the
No,
most part in the
Scarlet Witch.
comics.
I mean, Black Widow. Sorry.
Black Widow. Okay, yeah.
Can I say this really fast?
Go ahead.
What?
I wanted to see Cersei's face when the Night King was walking up
Yes.
to the gate. Because here's the thing.
She scoffed at everybody.
She was like, this is nothing. We're fine. We'll kill them all after they...
That was her plan.
Yeah, after they're all dead.
They will deplete their
Now
army and then they will attack.
Now imagine those walkers walking up to that gate and her face turning to, oh shit, I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap, we better get out of here.
I think she would have said the same thing that she said when Danny came in. Like, oh, we got the Iron Fleet. Like, no, the Iron Fleet are destroyed. We got the Colden Company. No, they all abandoned. Oh, the Lannister army will fight harder than any sellsword. No, they gave up.
They gave up really quick. So the Night King, the Children of the Forest. I was actually interested in their story. The Three-Eyed Raven. All that I said about the Three-Eyed Raven are things that you see in the book. In the show, who is he? I don't know.
He's
What
just
else?
an old guy that sits in a tree.
Jon Snow's lineage. Where does that go? Why did it go?
It went nowhere.
Danny's story was another huge disservice in season 8.
Yeah.
I saw, and a bunch of other people on the internet saw her becoming the Mad Queen a mile away. We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But it felt unsatisfying because it was rushed.
Yeah.
So-
Also, I wish they spent more time to build the romance between her and John.
I did not buy it.
Yeah, no.
I
Yeah,
did
it
not
was-
buy
it
It
was
was
fake.
just like, oh, one
It was
episode they were
terrible.
like, okay, you're my,
From season 7, it didn't make sense.
and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden like, oh, you're my queen now, Daenerys.
Yeah, he just seemed like he was a guy that kneeled all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
What about the prophecies?
my queen.
All of the prophecies. The prophecy that the prince was going to end the long night.
Oh, yeah,
that
the
didn't go
Azor
anywhere.
Ahai.
What about the prophecy for Cersei that her younger brother, was going to strangle her to death? That didn't go anywhere. What
Yep.
about Viserys? Not Viserys. What's the bald guy's name?
Varys.
Varys.
Yeah.
Varys is when
He was going to die in Westeros.
yeah, but
Well-
remember that there was something about.
Oh yeah,
there was
what
a
he heard in
witch.
the flames.
Yeah,
What he heard-
the witch heard something in the flames that scared the shit out of her, and we don't know what that.
No.
that
It was
happened.
him. It was when he got
He
cut.
heard it?
When he got cut as a child,
He heard
he
something.
heard the flame say something, but we don't know what it was.
The Lord
Right.
of Light. We don't know who he is and why he matters and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, the fact that Melisandre, she basically just kills herself at the end of the battle, like, oh, I'm gonna die before dawn, and then she just takes off her necklace and then just dies. Like,
So the point is, can
Well, I
put
guess-
of
I
all
guess-
of those
I think
story
that was
threads-
probably the best death out of them all.
I guess it makes more
That
sense.
was
I feel
the
like
most
for her,
epic death because she did so much in that episode that we weren't even expecting.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting her to be really great. I
feel-
wasn't expecting her
I
to
guess
never
be.
liked her.
for her, it makes more sense because it's more like, well,
The fact that she showed
my
up.
role was fulfilled. I did
Yeah.
what I had to do. There's nothing left for me.
And not only that, she died in a way where she what do you call it? She pretty much died just like a Jedi.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
she turned into a Force ghost.
Well,
Like she
it's kinda
disappeared.
Like, I that didn't bother me because it's like what Leo said. It's her role is fulfilled, so she can go alongside Dorne. Another story thread that didn't go anywhere.
Who-
Who was
people
that
of
prince
Dorne.
that came in all of a sudden? Like he's just like some extra. Like,
don't
oh,
know.
I'm gonna be
What
the prince of
about
Torgon.
No idea.
Daenerys' squeeze that was left in Slaver's Bay to take care
No,
of the city?
I think he comes back at the end, does he?
No, he doesn't.
No?
Who?
He's still there.
The
I don't even remember that guy.
Dario
remember
Naharis.
Dario Naharis, the guy that Danny sleeps with in Essos.
Oh yeah, where the hell did
He's
he go?
left there. So
Basically, her gigolo.
okay,
Yeah.
so my point, the Wildlands. There's so many things that we could have learned about. My point is, they have actually fleshed out all of those story threads that they dropped, plus a bunch of them that I cannot remember, in 6 hours? I don't think so.
What
that
I
10
think is if
seasons
they
would have
had
been
10
perfect.
seasons, yeah.
It would have been perfect.
Yeah, and that's why I back behind HBO where
Mm-hmm.
they know what they're talking about when they're like, dude, you need more time.
No, when the author of the story says we could have gone 12
12
seasons,
How? Oh my gosh.
I don't think he even watches the shows.
And then D&D is just
he
nah,
was a
bro.
producer.
7.
Okay.
He is a producer.
Nah, bro.
7.
7. 7 seasons. Why? Oh, it's my lucky number.
They didn't want to they didn't want to.
Overstay their welcome.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Meaning
What
that
do you
they
even
didn't
mean?
want, because there's a lot of great shows that overstay their welcome, where
Like if a show
they
goes
just
on for
drag
too long
on
and it just
for
drags
too
on.
long.
Yeah, but if you bring everybody into
Kind of
it,
like a Brazilian soap opera.
Yeah.
if you bring everybody's opinion into it, you realize how big this show is to them.
Oh yeah.
Are
no,
you
it's
kidding
huge.
me? Are you serious? Only 7 seasons? That's all you want to do? And then, oh, we'll do one more season. But guess what? We're going to cut it short even further and say that because we're doing hour and a half, hour 20 minutes for the episodes, that it really is going to make a difference. Because here's the thing. I have a theory about episodes. I feel like episodes have their own storyline every single time, right? Where they have a goal in each episode. Whereas even if you lengthen the episode as much as you want, you're not going to get to every story because you have to flesh out the one storyline, the one goal that you want to get. So if you had more episodes with less time, you could have gotten more goals than what they achieved. And
I think they would have still dropped if they had a regular 10 episode seasons for season 7 and season 8. They would have still dropped a lot of threads. Let's say for Daenerys to go crazy in 2 seasons, or maybe 1 season, would have been enough.
More like
think-
2 episodes.
I think, I mean, if they showed like more, I don't know, like she had more emotion, I don't know, she just felt dead to me. You know what I mean? Where she was like, oh, they don't like me.
I mean, because
You know,
I see, that's what I'm saying. Like,
And then,
I didn't mind those things because I understood
Sure.
because since the beginning,
I don't mind it either.
she was always an outsider. If you think about it,
yeah, but there was
remember
no
in the beginning,
real
in the beginning of season 1, when her brother, what's her brother's name? Viserys was, and I mean everyone around her was saying that how, oh my gosh, everyone in Westeros is waiting for
her
the
to come
Targaryens to come back. They're like
They
sowing.
They drink secret toasts.
Yeah,
to
and
her
all
name.
this kind of stuff. And then
Wait, but she
nothing-
know that was BS.
I don't know because
That-
she's
that-
young and
that's-
stupid. She was
see,
young
that's-
and
that's the
stupid.
point.
She
That's
called
the point.
she called that out. When
Yeah.
she called that out to Varys. Like, what? Do they drink secret toast to my name?
Yeah,
like, no,
but
she
when
knows.
did
Like, she knows that it's bull.
when did she meet Varys?
This was season 7.
So
no.
Actually, no, maybe season
season
6.
a
6.
lo-
She meets
Yeah.
him in season 6. So that was a lot of years until she comes to the realization that they probably don't do that. But then it's one thing for you to realize that, but then it's another thing for you to go to Westeros and see that no one is behind you, that no one is protecting you, that no one is looking out for you and ready to fight for you. So it's like, again, I understand, and I would have bought into the storyline, the story beats that they were trying to accomplish in season 8. My problem was not how the story turned. My problem is that it wasn't enough time to flesh out the story that they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
I would have been okay. And I think that this is the thing. People nowadays, fans, the fandom, they get so caught up in these stories and get so fucking pissed when it doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
I don't get mad. I understand. I'm like, you know what? It's not my story to tell. So whatever. Now, do a lot of things don't make sense? Sure. But why am I going to get mad at that? So it's like, I would have understood and would have maybe even enjoyed the story that they wanted to tell if they had taken the time to tell it.
Right. But as we're getting out our frustrations, because at the end of the day it's pretty frustrating.
We said all of our frustrations, but let's just really quickly before we go to the next subject.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's something that you'd like to keep in? What would you say that? All right, I'll keep that.
Something that you
into the
liked
story.
about season
Yeah.
8.
Where you're like, man, they did a good job here. This is what I like. I think this is why I watch Game of Thrones. And name some.
Specifically about season 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Season 8, episode 2 was fantastic.
I was gonna say exactly the same thing.
Season 8, episode 2 was fantastic. It felt like I really felt the weight of all these characters coming together. spending what they believe to be their last night ever. We had to wait the feeling that a lot of people are going to die. There's a lot at stake, which is why episode 3 was so disappointing. But we already talked about that.
I would argue that maybe season 2 is
Episode 2.
Episode 2, if not the best, one of the best episodes.
And
in Game of Thrones.
like a
That's
lot of
what,
characters.
yeah, I was about to say that
a
too.
lot of character story that came full circle, and it felt like I really felt the way. Like, no, hey, a lot of these people are gonna die. This is their last night together. Arya's like, no, I never had sex before. And I want to know what it, like she said, I want to know what it feels like.
But that
Even
was awkward,
Arya's
though.
character.
That was awkward.
That was a bit
Even
awkward.
Arya's
that.
hold on. Even Arya's character.
But it makes sense. Like,
She after so many seasons of watching her and the most boring long stretch.
Ready? My unpopular opinion, I do not like Arya.
I still like her.
Alright.
I don't
Anyways.
like her.
Watching that unfold is like, man, all of this, we realize then that, man, she is a woman now. We have watched her grow up.
Still don't like her.
She's
it's a weird thing.
badass.
We're okay with watching her kill people, but we're not okay with watching her have sex.
Do you know what's
Still
funny?
don't like
There's
her.
a lot of people that actually Googled whether or not she was 18.
Yes.
She is, in fact,
That's
though.
hilarious.
But guess what? I still don't like her.
Hilarious. Because even if you think about medieval times, let's call it that, a 12-year-old having sex is normal.
Do you know? Okay, yeah, sure. But do you know why I don't like
That's funny.
Arya?
Mm.
She's too fucking OP. And they don't do anything with
All
her.
right, anyways, back on topic.
No, I'm serious though.
I know, I
They
understand.
don't do anything with her.
No.
All right.
What are you talking about? It led up all the way to the fact that she kills the Night King.
And then the next episode, no one, apart from a little cheer, no one talks about it. Like, you just came out of nowhere and killed the
All
Night
right.
King, and then everybody was like,
back
"Hooray!"
back on topic. Positives. So episode 2 was fantastic. The destruction of King's Landing. I think that was really well done.
Okay.
And I do like parts of the ending. That after the aftermath of what happened, they have a new king. I would prefer it was Jon. The new small council. I felt like it made sense.
I agree with
Even
that.
though
yeah.
Braun doesn't make sense to be Master of Coin
It makes sense
whatsoever.
It makes. I think it's just mostly for the fact that he threatened Tyrion.
And why
Yeah.
the Sam Otali is the Grand Maester now?
I mean,
Hold on.
How the hell does he have all his chains? Have you thought about
we
that?
don't know how much
because
time
there's
has
no more
passed.
Grand Maesters.
Yeah,
They all
basically.
died.
And
Cersei killed them all.
and
She went.
I'm
nuts.
actually happy with the fact that Arya goes west of Westeros to explore unexplored lands.
When she could have
Sansa-
probably asked
Sansa-
Bran or asked
Bran.
Bran. I'm like, she could have just said, "Hey, what's
Yo,
west
Bran,
of Westeros?"
Warga into a fish and let's go to the other
Organ
side.
to Drogon.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sansa becomes queen of Winterfell. I feel like that was done pretty well. Jon Snow's ending, like I said, the whole Targaryen thing. What was the point of bringing him back to life and revealing that he was Targaryen?
So
If they're just going to banish him to the wall,
what would you have done?
No, banish him beyond the wall.
beyond the wall.
What would you have done?
I would have had Jon be king of Westeros.
But now hold on.
Maybe
I see why you would do that, but you have to put yourself in George R.R. Martin's shoes, and his whole mission with Game of Thrones is to completely throw away all of the cliches of the.
Hold on, we're talking about the
fantasy-
book.
No,
Jon Snow's dead.
all of the.
I'm not kidding. He is.
All of the fantasy stuff. And completely subvert expectations. So do you really think that George R. R. Martin would put at the end Jon Snow on the throne?
I think so.
You really do?
Remember, the prerequisite of filming Game of Thrones or writing for Game of Thrones is if they could guess Jon Snow's lineage
But
correctly.
does that mean that he would end up on the throne?
I felt if it was that important, I think so, yes.
So
I
you will put him on the throne.
I think it's possible.
You will put him on the throne.
I would put me as a writer if I'm going through the trouble of bringing Jon Snow back from the dead, yes, if not on the throne, then I wouldn't banish him to the wall, and I would definitely have Jon kill the Night King.
Yeah, what was the point of bringing Jon Snow back?
Well,
Seriously.
So there's two. First of all, I would not make him king of Westeros.
Yeah, because you
It's
like
too
to subvert what do you
It's
call
too
it?
predictable.
Remember what George
It's
R. R. Martin
too
said?
predictable.
He said that just because people guess things right doesn't mean he's going to change his writing for it.
Yeah. No,
So,
but
if
what-
the butler
how
did
does
it,
this-
the butler did it. He's not
Okay,
going
but
to,
how-
all of a sudden the maid did it. No,
but how does that have to do with Jon Snow being king?
he fits so well with the prophecy. Like I said, what's the point of the trouble of bringing him back into life just so that A, he doesn't kill the Night King, and B, he doesn't become king?
Well, that's what
It's
I'm
either
saying.
one or the
I
other.
would say not necessarily.
both.
Maybe not necessarily because George R. R. Martin, he has some really out there, really creative and out there ideas that some really out there and creative ideas that could completely surprise us. That's what I'm saying. What?
Yeah, like what?
The whole Bran warging into stuff and being able to teleport himself.
Hey, guess what? The season 8,
What?
that was D&D.
That was not George R. R. Martin.
No, I know that.
So that's the point. Like even if you bring in
is George R. R. Martin.
Yeah.
Him becoming the 3 Raven is George R. R. Martin. Because
Yeah,
remember,
but it doesn't
George
even-
R. R. Martin told them how the story would end. He told them some major story beats so that they could follow the same path, but then
I'm pretty sure that they
They
talked
didn't.
about how they're not gonna continue to do what George R. R. Martin.
Do you know
would
why?
like.
Do you know why they had Arya kill the Night King?
Subvert expectations.
Just because of that. So that's what I'm saying. I would not put Jon Snow on the throne in the end. That's too predictable. Now, why would he come back to life? Maybe so that he could end the long night and kill the Night King. Maybe so that if he doesn't kill the Night King, fine. But maybe the reason why he was able to come back to life is that he was one of the people that could get close enough to Daenerys without raising eyebrows, and that he could kill the next big bad evil person in Westeros and end the tyranny that she would bring into Westeros.
Okay, but either way, what would you keep? What did you like?
I think
Dre.
I was done on my part. So
Yeah,
Dre.
Dre.
What did I like? I like the cinematography. All the
Nope.
No,
We're
story.
We're talking about story, dude. We're talking
No,
about.
but, well, I'm saying what I like. I can
Oh,
say
all
I
right.
liked all the technical aspects of season 8. I think was beautifully done.
Okay, I'm glad that you believe that.
Not believe it's you can see it.
Okay.
All right.
My only gripe
Well,
with season 8.
except for the one episode where you can't see anything.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Episode 3, you just can't see shit. I'm like, well, okay, I guess we're doing
Great
this.
cinematography.
Story-wise, what did I like about season 8? Man,
What, are you really thinking about this just now?
I am thinking about this.
The weight of having to make a decision.
No. I'm thinking about like what did I actually really liked about season. I'm trying to think of something that's not what Leo already said.
Oh, you can't agree with me anymore. You must always.
No, 'cause
Well,
I just wanna say something
okay,
different.
what do you agree with?
I think like I said, episode 2 of season 8 was probably one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones because the way that characters met up, it wasn't in a cliche way. Their stories came full circle. If they had beef with other characters, it was resolved. And it was
Like
beautiful.
when crap, I forgot the guy's name. That's from the north.
Tormund.
Yeah, when Tormund was like, "All right, lady, let's get it on,"
Yeah, I mean, it was.
and then she was like, "Yeet."
It was beautiful. It was really touching. I got teary-eyed when what's the night lady? Brienne of Tarth was being knighted by Jaime.
Yeah, that was so good.
So it
And her ending was great. I'll not deny that. That was a great
She
ending
becomes
to her
Lord
character.
Commander of the Kingsguard, and
Yeah.
then she
Yeah.
finishes Jamie's history.
Yeah, that was great. That was perfect. That
Yeah.
my closure with her. Done.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Check.
I guess I'm really trying to think here.
I
know.
guess you didn't really
I
think
mean,
this through, did you?
No, I did.
No,
I did. But
no,
it's like,
because it's the same thing. Even as you're thinking, even I agree with you that for season 8, episode 2. My God, I was like, I'm so ready for episode 3.
everyone to die.
Everyone's gonna die. I already believe it. I know I'm gonna cry already. But you know what? Because I have closure on everybody. Because I already know that what's gonna happen. Like when Theon died, even though I disagree with the way he died, when Theon died, that was great. That was perfect to me because what Bran said to him, he's like,
You're a good man.
"You're a good man."
Like that's
And
what he
all
wanted to hear.
Yeah, that's all he wanted to hear, and he heard it from what became the most powerful man. And so,
You mean a fortune-telling plank, but go on.
yeah,
I
no
really like
emotion.
Brando. I really like him.
And after that, you're like, man, I'm so good with Theon. Like I'm all set. But when
I
you
have one.
Huh?
I have one.
All right,
I
go.
thought about it.
Okay.
When Tyrion he finds Jamie and Cersei under the rubble. I thought that scene was powerful.
Yep.
It was very powerful.
Oh, and when he takes out his pen and throws it on the ground.
No, I'm saying
No,
when
that
he-
was
No,
way
I-
after.
I
Yeah.
know that was after, but I
when
also like that
he-
part.
Yeah, that was
No, just
that
the
was cool.
part where he literally looks at it and he sees
hand.
the hand, but he then continues.
Yeah.
to search for them.
Yeah, he looks through the rubble.
And-
He
and
had
to
to
be-
see their
And
faces.
to be honest, even though I think it was a huge disservice for Jamie's character arc of redemption to go back to Cersei, I didn't mind him dying with her. I thought that was that, you know.
Well,
because
the
look,
thing
this
is,
is-
like,
this
think
is-
about
this is what I
Jamie.
tried.
He
This is what I
just saw all of the walkers for the first time.
What about it though?
What is your next step when you're like, holy shit, I feel like the world's gonna end?
Well,
I
for
survived.
him, it's to sleep with Brienne.
Right. But then, after he slept with Brienne, what was he like? He was like, man, this is not my true love. Like, I gotta go. I have to rush to her arms.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, if you really think about it, if the love of your life is still out there and you know that you can run back to their arms, even though it disservices everything that you have accomplished thus far, all the change and all the growth, wouldn't you go back to them?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe yeah. So that's what
Depends.
I kind of dug that.
Yeah.
It depends. Because if my love is one, my sister, and a psycho, then no, I wouldn't.
Incest.
But maybe apart from everything else that you guys said, story wise, that is about it that I actually enjoyed. I think my biggest enjoyment. I want to watch season 8 again to enjoy the technicality of everything.
Okay.
Because I was
But,
caught
I mean,
up
even
of
for
how
me,
mad I was at how the story was going that I wasn't able to fully enjoy just the spectacle of it all.
So you have to rewatch it.
I have to rewatch
Yeah,
it.
I agree. But now that we've fleshed out, we're like, all right, I've gotten all my Game of Thrones out. Like, this is, even though we still have our gripes, we still have our frustrations. Take a deep breath, guys.
Bran, biggest frustration really quick. Bran, my biggest frustration is Bran.
All right. Done.
All right.
Okay.
I think just the ending. It's like, okay, it was a good ending.
Quick,
Great
just Bran. Mine's Bran. That's it. The ending.
ending.
What about you?
My biggest gripe.
Yeah, great.
Frustration.
One
letdown.
word, one name, whoever, whatever.
Actually, no. Night King. Never mind.
My,
Not bad.
yes,
King.
Night King.
Yeah, for
Actually,
me it was Battle of Winterfell.
Night King.
Night King.
Was,
Yep.
after the Battle of Winterfell, that's when I really started losing hope for season.
I'm like, I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, I'm done. They better bring it back because
Like
holy crap, this is
like
terrible.
for me, it was like you got 3 episodes to make this happen,
And it didn't happen.
No.
Nope.
It did not happen.
Like
And
I
that-
swear, these next 3 episodes, it better be like golden shit.
And not
Like,
not only not only that, but the fact that we forgot about it as being one of our biggest frustrations. Because you were like, Bran, I was like the ending,
Yeah,
and then
it
we were
was
like,
barely-
wait a second,
No, guys,
the Night King.
it was barely an inconvenience.
Forgot about it.
It was barely an inconvenience.
So,
if you have not watched the pitch meeting for Game of Thrones season 8,
Look it up on YouTube.
So
Look it
funny.
up.
hilarious.
It is hilarious.
All
What
right.
about the Night
Not
King?
a sponsor.
Barely an inconvenience.
All right. And so now we're going to go into our 15 minutes of live with us. Any questions that you have? If you are watching this on YouTube or listening to a podcast, we actually go live for 15 minutes at the end of our episodes. And we do that because we want to connect with you. We want to hear from you because it's not just about us. It's also about you. So we are
about you
here. We
guys.
have any questions, any doubts about Game of Thrones, any frustrations about Game of Thrones,
Or-
we will answer them. Even
Or-
though we
or
have
anything
our,
about us, any opinions you want from us, or anything like that, you can ask us anything as well.
Now, just really quick, from one of the polls that we put up was, what did you think of Game of Thrones season 8?
okay.
And 47% of people that voted was thumbs up, and 53% were thumbs down.
Yeah,
That is way too close for
yeah.
comfort for me.
Actually,
Yeah.
no, it says probably one of the most divisive series.
It really is.
the
Some people
seasons.
loved it, some people hated it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what can you love about it though?
So some of the several of what people said responses were Marcos Gianni K said, "What the fuck just happened about season 8?"
Language.
I'm guessing he did not like season 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing too. Because I was the same way. What are they doing? Why are they ruining up my favorite?
Where's
my
that
favorite
white monkey?
TV show
The-
right
the
now.
white monkey.
No,
Can
the
we
white
edit
beamer.
that? Can we edit that white monkey in? Like just have it just like
Honestly though. Okay, go.
Tata Candy 30 said disappointed.
Yes.
or epic.
Or one of those.
One of those two. If you watch the interview with Kit Harington, that's what he says.
David B said, not really a what the fuck, but the ending felt way too rushed.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Again, it's the whole rushed, the whole thing
Agreed.
about being rushed. And that's the thing. I don't think many people had gripes with the story, where the story went. It's just that it felt rushed. It didn't feel earned.
Yep.
Yeah, like they didn't really
Like
go
stuff
through
was just
the
happening
work.
left and right.
They
know.
didn't go through it.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one brought to you by Gabriel Leon. He said, who should have sat on the throne?
Ooh.
Who
Well,
should have sat
well,
on
we
the
already
throne?
know what he thinks.
Are you going to stand by your,
Yeah,
your
okay.
answer?
Say the name. Give us a 30-second explanation on why.
I will stick with Jon Snow, mainly because one, he came back to life. Why did they go through the trouble of bringing him back to life if they're just going to banish him to the wall? And two, his lineage, half Stark, half Targaryen, is also really important, and also the fact that the prerequisite for filming Game of Thrones is knowing Jon Snow's lineage. So the fact that George R.R. Martin put so much emphasis and importance on Jon Snow, I think it only makes sense that he would sit on a throne at the end.
Okay. All right. I like the explanation, but I dislike the choice. Okay.
What about you, Anthony? What would you choose?
Look, you know who should have sat on that throne? Honestly,
If you say Podrick, I'm going to strangle you.
the Night King. And I'm not kidding.
All right.
Because here's the thing. One, as Dre was explaining, who is the biggest subverter of expectations?
Arya Stark.
No. The biggest subverter of the expectations is the writer of the whole thing. because we watched the Red Wedding. We were like, holy crap, what just happened? We thought everything was gonna go one way, and it didn't. I was thinking that the Night King was gonna sit on that throne, and I think one of the reasons why is because I was actually thinking that maybe, just maybe, the Night King was gonna be turned back from being the Night King to being a human being again.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been so what? That just happened? Like, you defeated the Night King because you changed him back into a human being. And guess what?
Honestly, I would.
That human being then stands there, and talk about a person that knows human history. That Night King, he's been alive as long as the Three-Eyed Raven. And just to think about it, the Night King then becomes the king of Westeros, the Seven Kingdoms.
That would have been interesting. Honestly, I
Oh,
would. I would have been shocked if he just talked.
But not as the Night King, but as a human.
As a human.
Oh, okay.
Not
as an evil entity.
No, as it was one of the wisest people that you'll ever meet, because he just came from being stabbed in the heart by Dragonstone to then being released from this magic grip.
Would he still be the age that he was?
That would be interesting. What age would he be? Would he just die?
Becoming the Night King, does that mean that your true body is frozen in time? Or if the magic spell is lifted off, do you die?
I mean, although we saw that when a magic spell was lifted, they died. Mm-hmm. But I mean, she also survived when she lifted it off at one point too.
So then why did she die then?
Yeah, that's
maybe
weird.
Because
it's just a minor inconvenience.
barely an inconvenience.
Because
maybe the magic that came from the Lord of Light, the power that came through the necklace to her from the Lord of Light was lifted off once she accomplished her mission.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, just like I said, she was a Force ghost. It's just like when Obi-Wan was like, "Okay, just kill me."
Yeah, but
he was like, "I'm ready."
I like that thing.
So Dre, your turn. 30 seconds.
Why does he get 2 minutes and I get 30 seconds?
Sorry, I had to explain it.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, go ahead.
No, but I mean, but mine's I don't have a long answer. It's just I would end with Daenerys on the throne, but with traces of her going mad.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't have her go mad before and just completely 360 no scope King's Landing. I would have her destroy the Red Keep, kill Cersei.
Okay.
I would have her kill Cersei.
Would you have her still kill all the people?
No, I would not, because that doesn't make sense.
It didn't make any sense.
Does not make sense.
Honestly,
that's why it's like, technically speaking, that was beautiful. I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. Oh no, please don't die. But I'm like, I was conflicted by. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense for Daenerys to do.
Nope.
So she wouldn't go berserker mode and wouldn't kill everybody.
She was like, I want to free people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't
She
go along with her
didn't
character.
do any of that.
But I would have some very glaring traces of her going mad and end of with her sitting on the throne, but kind of making some very questionable decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in a way to leave it as in, like, at the end of the day, the very person that promised to break the what would she say?
Break the chains.
No, the circle.
Break the wheel.
The wheel. To break the wheel,
Yeah.
she
Is the wheel.
is the wheel.
Okay.
Or
I wouldn't
like it.
end it. I wouldn't end it in a good note. I would have ended it in a very ominous note.
now,
Yeah,
if I were to do the happy ending of it,
Well, I mean, if it's a happy, the happy ending would be Jon Snow.
John and Danny together.
Yeah. That would be the happy ending. Yeah.
That
anytime
But
that
like,
Jon Snow,
would you
no.
actually would
No,
do that?
before Danny like starts going crazy stuff, like John was kind of like anchors her down. Like, no, don't go crazy. I'm still here. I
Maybe
still love
John dies. maybe Jon dies in the battle for
Winterfell.
For King's Landing.
Maybe.
And maybe the thing that really pushes over the edge is that the love of her
Yeah.
life died so that she could be on that throne.
Yeah.
Even though he's over at
But
Slater
yes,
Base.
but still, my number one choice is Jon.
John.
Okay,
John, the Night King.
Yeah.
The good Night King.
The
Yeah.
good night
So
king.
the Day
yeah.
King.
Yes. I like the day
And
king.
I would pick Daenerys kind of going mad. And you had your hands up.
All
Hold on.
right.
Quick last question here.
Okay.
What did you guys think about Drogon destroying the Iron Throne instead of burning Jon Snow?
We had this
it was barely
conversation.
an inconvenience.
I mean, I think I still stand by, even after thinking about it. I still stand by the comment I gave you. Was they end up explaining to us? Okay, so backstory.
The
First
dragons are
explain-
smart. Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
Now,
dragons are smart, and
even though that wasn't the case for the whole series.
what they were saying is that they might actually have one of the
consciousness.
a type of conscious, but I think they were saying that they have a conscious of whoever.
They're a reincarnation of the past Targaryens.
Exactly. And for that dragon to then do that, who was that dragon? And I was like, that's so interesting.
Aegon Targaryen,
Sure.
the Mad King.
Who? Yeah, maybe he's the one. He wanted
Really?
to
So,
see.
in
He
the
wanted to
books, is
see
that a
his
thing?
lineage
No.
sit on the throne, but then he realizes that his lineage keeps dying by the throne, so he gets rid of the throne. He's like, it's over. It's
Wait,
done. I can't do this
Is
anymore.
this only theory or is it based off books?
Theory.
It's
That's only
what
theory.
what I'm saying is theory, but what they said in the
I haven't gotten that far in the books.
in the show is that dragons are smart.
But not all the it
From
wasn't
what
the
I've
whole
heard-
time.
from what
It
I
was a retcon because earlier in the seasons they had said that dragons were no smarter than dogs.
Yeah. That's all I was going
But
to say.
then Tyrion in season 6 maybe he says that actually they're pretty smart.
Yeah.
I think that yes, the dragons are smart, but I think that the reason why Drogon camera 1 is out. I think the reason why Drogon did that is because he realized that his mother just died because she was pursuing that chair, that throne. The person that really killed Daenerys Targaryen wasn't Jon Snow. It was her pursuit for the throne. The throne was to blame, and he destroyed it.
Yeah, but either way, like,
I really like that. I really like that.
Whoever that dragon is, whether or not the dragon is smart, man, whatever happened there was awesome.
I liked it.
The way that the dragon just came in, and instead of, even though I have a theory that Jon Snow wouldn't die, instead of breathing fire at Jon Snow, he breathed fire at the throne. So I think when that happened, that subvert of expectations was good.
What about you, Leo? What do you think about that?
Because
It was a bit out of the blue, although I see it makes sense, but I don't think it would make sense given the context. Had they, like I said, had they given more time to develop the story, like, if Dany was queen for a while or something, and then Drogon, notices patterns of Daenerys going crazy or going something like that, getting too obsessed with that chair.
If Drogon saw that.
Yeah, if Drogon saw something like that, and then he realized that his mom's going crazy and stuff.
I mean, you don't think that he saw that when he ended up killing so many people, when he's not used to that with her.
He didn't see it.
He did it.
He did it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. When that happened, He's not used to killing that many people. He really isn't.
No, yes, he is.
No, he
Dude,
isn't.
he has killed armies. Have you not seen the battle outside of King's Landing when they just went over to High Garden and then they came back with a bunch of gold? Dude, he plowed through people.
He plowed through an army.
He plowed through an
But
army.
not only
Yeah,
that, that
but
was
an
the,
army is not 1 million people.
Yeah, we're talking about one moment when
Various
maybe.
moments. He's killed a lot of people. He has a high.
Oh yeah, who?
Innocent people, not many, bro. Actually, none. Up until that point, that was the first time that
None.
she killed innocent.
The
women
only
and
time,
children.
the only time was when the guy brought his daughter's bones to him,
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah, but they were young.
But they, and not only
They were
that, it
tiny
was
little things.
one.
Yeah.
So my thing is not that I just don't think we realize that he doesn't kill people. He doesn't kill that group of people without her there.
Yeah, because she
Without
she
her
gave
giving the order.
Yeah.
We don't realize that. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Do we have anything from the audience? No.
No.
Not today.
No, I guess not.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're also on Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Music. And if you are watching this or listening to this on Spotify, Apple Music, or Google Play, we're also on YouTube
All
and
right.
Instagram.
and Instagram. Follow us at...
The yet to
The
be
Yet to Be
named.
Named podcast.
All right. And a toast to you guys. And I just wanted to say, to the past, present, and future, may we drink to celebrate the past, may we drink to enjoy what is before us, and when the glass is empty, may it only be to start a new adventure.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.